After cutting down Mace Windu and watching him fly out the window, Anakin is turned into a Sith Lord, Darth Vader. It was a really great scene in the movie, but today I'm going to make it even better as we go inside the mind of Anakin, now Vader, as he fully embraces the dark side for the first time. Palpatine describes the feeling of the dark side, how to embrace it, and Anakin does so, and we get to read it all in the Revenge of the Sith novelization. Let's get into it, starting with Anakin standing in front of Palpatine immediately after Windu flies out the window. Also, I do have a playlist, newly created, with all of my Revenge of the Sith novel lore videos. They're super fun to make, so check that out on my channel. I promise you'll enjoy it. Anyways, now to the book, where Palpatine's talking to Anakin, telling him he has to join the Sith. You must learn to cast off the petty restraints that the Jedi have tried to place upon your power, Palpatine said. Anakin, it's time. I need you to help me restore order to the galaxy. Anakin didn't respond, so Sidious said, join me. Pledge yourself to the Sith. Become my apprentice. A wave of tingling started at the base of Anakin's skull, and it spread over his whole body in a slow-motion shockwave. I can't. Of course you can, Palpatine replied. Anakin shook his head and found the rest of him. He began shaking as well. I came to save your life, sir. Not to betray my friends, Anakin said. And Sidious snorted. What friends? Anakin could find no answer. And do you think that task is finished, my boy? Sidious seated himself on the corner of the desk, hands folded in his lap, the way he always had when offering Anakin fatherly advice, made the familiarity of his posture into something horrible. Do you think that killing one traitor will end treason? Do you think the Jedi will ever stop until I am dead? Anakin stared at his hands. The left one was shaking, so he hid it behind him. It's them or me, Anakin. Or perhaps I should put it more plainly. It's them or Padme. Anakin made his right hand, his black gloved hand of Durasteel and Electro drivers, into a fist. It's not easy. That's all. I've been a Jedi for so long. Sidious offered an appalling smile. There is a place within you, my boy. A place as briskly clean as ice on a mountaintop, cool and remote. Find that high place and look down within yourself. Breathe that clean, icy air as you regard your guilt and your shame. Do not deny them. Observe them. Take your horror in your hands and look at it. Examine it as a phenomenon. Smell it. Taste it. Come to know it as only you can, for it is yours, and it is precious. As the shadow beside him spoke, its words became true. From a remote, frozen distance that was at the same time more extravagantly, hotly intimate than he could have ever dreamed, Anakin handled his emotions. He dissected them. He reassembled them and pulled them apart again and again. He still felt them. If anything, they burned hotter than before. But they no longer had the power to cloud his mind. You have found it, my boy. I can feel you there. That cold distance, that mountaintop within yourself, that is the first key to the power of the Sith. Anakin opened his eyes and turned his gaze fully upon the grotesque features of Darth Sidious. He didn't even blink. As he looked upon that mask of corruption, the revulsion he felt was real, and it was powerful, and it was interesting. Anakin lifted his hand and he cupped it, staring into its palm as though he held there the fear that had haunted his dreams for his entire life. It was no larger than a piece of food he'd once stolen from Padme's plate. On the mountain peak within himself, he weighed Padme's life against the Jedi Order. It was no contest. He said, Yes. Yes to what, my boy? Yes, I want your knowledge. Good, Anakin. I want your power. I want the power to stop death. That power only my master truly achieved, but together we will find it. The Force is strong with you, my boy. You can do anything. The Jedi betrayed you, Anakin said. The Jedi betrayed both of us. As you say, are you ready? I am, he said, and he meant it. I give myself to you. I pledge myself to the ways of the Sith. Take me as your apprentice. Teach me. Lead me. Be my master. Sidious raised the hood of his robe and draped it to the shadow, the ruin of his face. Kneel before me, Anakin Skywalker. Anakin dropped to one knee. He lowered his head. It is your will to join your destiny forever with the Order of the Sith? There was no hesitation. Yes, my master. Darth Sidious laid a pale hand on Anakin's brow. Then it is done. You are now one with the Order of the Dark Lords of the Sith. From this day forward, the truth of you, my apprentice, now and forever will be Darth. A pause. A questioning in the Force. An answer, dark as the gap between galaxies. He heard Sidious say it. His new name. Vader. A pair of syllables that meant him. Vader, he said to himself. Vader. Thank you, my master. Rise, Darth Vader. The Sith Lord, who had once been a Jedi hero called Anakin Skywalker, stood, drawing himself up to his full height. But he looked not outward upon his new master, nor upon the planet city beyond, nor out into the galaxy that they would soon rule. He instead turned his gaze inward. He unlocked the furnace gate within his heart, and he stepped forth to regard with new eyes the cold, freezing dread of the dead star dragon that had haunted his entire life. I am Darth Vader, he said within himself. The dragon inside him tried again to whisper of failure, of weakness, inevitable death, but with one hand the Sith Lord caught it, crushed it away inside of him, crushed its voice. It tried to rise again, to coil and rear and strike, but the Sith Lord laid his other hand upon it and broke its power with a single, effortless twist. I am Darth Vader, he repeated as he ground the dragon's corpse to dust beneath his metal heel, as he watched the dragon's dust and ashes scatter before the blast from his furnace heart. And you are nothing at all, he said to the dragon inside of him. He had become, finally, what everyone called him, the hero with no fear. That's where we're ending this today. If you don't know, if you're wondering what's the dragon, Anakin he referenced this dragon inside of him. Basically, the fear, the anger, the hatred, the dark side, but like the weakest parts of the dark side inside of him. And that dragon would always rear its head, scare Anakin into thinking Padme was going to die. And in this moment, when Anakin turns to the dark side, he's able to, in his own mind, or so he thinks, kill that dragon. So he thinks. Of course, it does come back once Padme's gone. But alas, right now, he feels the dark side, and he loves it. I loved the passage in this story when Palpatine basically tells him to observe the horror, to observe all of his guilt, all of his shame, to just take all of the emotions he's forever been avoiding, to just feel them, to know them, to own them. And Anakin does, and he likes the feeling. He feels it burning inside of him, but he embraces them, and then he says they no longer had power to cloud his mind, which I think is interesting. I think more scenes like this, I wish they were in the movie. Obviously, you can't put everything in a movie, or else it's 8 hours long. So I highly recommend reading the Revenge of the Sith novel. Again, the movie's still amazing. But yeah, I'll always recommend this book. I love covering it. I have a whole playlist, which you can find on my channel, which is all about this book, which, yeah, again, great book. Anyways, thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments what you thought. Leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.